and welcome back. Today we're going to be making some steel cut oats in the Instant Pot, and I'm going to show you how I am going to freeze them today into individual sizes, and how easy it is to make steel cut oats or any oatmeal in the Instant Pot. If you're using a different type of oatmeal other than the one I'm using, the steel cut oats, then you're going to want to look up and see the ratio of water and milk to add. You can just do water if you'd like to. I like to add milk because it makes it a little creamier. I'm also testing out a new microphone today, so let me know in the comments if you like the quality of audio. So we're going to do 2 cups of steel cut oats. Right into our Instant Pot. And if you don't want to freeze these, this is going to be my first time trying to freeze them, and I will let you know how it comes out. But usually I will make them the night before, and then we'll have a quick, easy, we'll put them in the fridge and have a quick, easy breakfast in the morning. For my kids, or me and my husband, the whole family, whoever. Alright, so now I'm going to add half a teaspoon of salt. I'm using sea salt. Use whatever salt you'd like. Half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Excuse the cinnamon on my hands. This is 2 cups of water. We're going to do 4 cups of water. We're going to add our final 2 cups of water. And now 2 cups of milk. Alright, now we are going to give this a good mix to incorporate all the ingredients. You can add some vanilla extract if you'd like, which I would, but I just ran out. I'm going to get our lid on. Doing this backwards, so bear with me. Let's see. There we go. Plug in our Instant Pot. Make sure it's set to seal. Then you're going to do pressure cook. High pressure for 4 minutes. Now our Instant Pot is on and ready to go. Now we are up to pressure, and this is going to cook for 4 minutes, and then we're going to let it do a natural release for 10 minutes. And then after that, we will switch it to vent and do a quick release for the rest. All right, we finished our natural release. Now we are going to do a quick release. Pin has dropped and our quick release has finished. Now I'm going to turn off my Instant Pot. Carefully open up the lid away from myself. And I'm going to give this a quick mix. I'll show you what it looks like. And this is what we're working with here. It looks delicious. These will continue to thicken as they go. You can add more liquid if you'd like. We like to add more milk to it when we heat it up. And just pour it over the top with some brown sugar and butter, so I'm not going to add more liquid right now. This looks perfect to me. On to our next step, I'm going to portion these out into muffin liners. I feel like that's the perfect portion for my children. If you're doing this for yourself, you could just put them in glass containers, whatever you'd like. I have small children, so they only need a little bit at a time, and if they want more, they can I'll just pop out an extra muffin container. Now, any leftovers I'm going to take and put in the fridge, and we will enjoy that tomorrow morning. Oops. And these, after I fill these up, I'm going to flash freeze them. Just like this, and when they are fully hardened, I will take them and pop them out of the muffin liners and pop them into a vacuum sealing bag for probably half of them, and put the rest in just a freezer bag. They stay fresh. And I will show you that process as well. And I am missing one muffin liner. My kids like to use those for their snacks sometimes. Sure, it'll pop up. Right, now I have about half of that left, which is perfect. I will put that in the fridge, and that's what we will eat tomorrow morning for breakfast. I'm going to place a couple blueberries on top. The kids love blueberries. And we'll just fix them as we go, rather than sticking my hand in that purple bag and get my hand all purple. It'll be perfect for before school for my girls. Steel cut oats usually take about a half an hour to cook on the stove, so it's not really realistic to do in the morning before school. So it'll be nice to have this option. Usually if they want oatmeal before school, I'll do some cream of wheat, because that cooks a lot faster. But we love the steel cut oats. It also is a lot faster and a lot more hands off if you do it in the Instant Pot. Alright, now I'm going to pop these in the freezer and let these flash freeze. Take the rest of this and put it into my dish here. And this will go straight into the fridge. And this will be good in your fridge for about 5 days. It won't last in my fridge that long. Actually just pop these back out real quick so I can show you all the breakfast meals that we've gotten done so far. We got our steak and potato breakfast bowls, which I have not tried yet, but I cannot wait to try. Steel cut oats. And I will show you me vacuum sealing this and packaging it in a little bit when these are done. Actually, I'll probably do that tomorrow. We have our breakfast pizzas. We got 4 for the freezer, and I already cooked up 2 of them. So we made 6 in total of those. 4 breakfast bowls, if we like these, which I think we will. I'm going to be making a whole bunch more of these in different variations. And steel cut oats, if these freeze well, I'll let you know how that goes too. These will be a new must-have in my freezer with different variations as well. I have my potatoes here that I have par cooked, and I'm going to line them out on a baking tray with parchment paper. When steaming these, you're going to want them to be just barely fork tender where it's still firm when you're pushing your fork through. And then these I stored in the fridge overnight. That is why some of them are a little bit brown, and that is perfectly fine. Now that I have these all spread out on my baking sheet, I'm going to cut these into bite-sized chunks. We're going to break these all apart and then spread them back out again. Now you're going to want to put some oil on these, whatever oil of choice you have. I have some vegetable oil that I'm using right now. Preferably I would use avocado oil. I don't want to use olive oil in this situation because I don't want it to take on the flavor for breakfast. If I were cooking these to go with dinner, I would definitely choose olive oil or avocado oil. Now I'm going to season these with some sea salt, smoked paprika. Now as you can see, I'm not measuring any of these out, just put whatever you desire. If there's a certain seasoning that I use that you'd like to opt out of using, go ahead. It's completely up to your taste preferences. Also, feel free to add additional spices as well. Now I'm going to add some black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, we're going to toss this around and get it all mixed up and incorporated with all the spices in the oil. And spread it all out so that it evenly bakes. Try to make sure that they aren't stacked on top of each other. Adding a good bit of onions here. These are chopped yellow onions. No measurement here as well. I'm just putting whatever I feel would be right in this. You can caramelize your onions beforehand if you'd like to. They're going to cook up just fine with my potatoes, so I'm going to just leave them like this. I'm going to pop them in the oven. I believe I had the oven set to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, and these cooked for about 15 to 18 minutes. We're going to get our butter melting in our pan. And these are going to be steak and potato breakfast bowls, so we're going to cook our steak in this butter. I'm going to cook 2 ribeyes, but I'm cooking them one at a time. Now, since these are for breakfast bowls, I'm going to cook them a little more well than I would usually do. This is some salt I'm adding. And then I'm going to add some black ground pepper, some garlic. These are frozen minced garlic cubes. Some parsley, that's also frozen minced parsley. Yeah, but like I said, I'm going to cook them a little more well than I usually do. These are going to be pretty much fully cooked through because they're for breakfast. Usually if we eat our steak with dinner and we weren't going to just like heat this up anyways and cook it again, we would, we like our steaks medium. Halfway through the cooking process, we're going to want to take out our potatoes and give them a good stir, mixing to make sure they all evenly brown, along with our onions as well. I have not yet tried these breakfast bowls, but I did try every individual ingredient, like the potatoes, to make sure they were good, and they came out excellent. The steak was so flavorful with all the garlic and parsley on it and the melted butter. It was just so good. Definitely cooked a little bit more than I typically like my steak, but it wasn't like tough at all, and it was really, really flavorful, so the flavor just makes up for it. So I'm very excited to try these breakfast bowls. I was just saving them for a little bit. Now this is my second steak. I'm just going to cook this the same way. Now I'm going to cut up my steak also into just about bite-sized pieces, removing any fat as I go. Now I'm going to crack 8 eggs into this bowl. Check on our potatoes, and they are done. All nice and golden brown. I gave our eggs a little scramble and added some black pepper. I'm going to add some salt. Some milk. Once again, this is all up to preference. Add as much as you'd like. I like my eggs to be fluffy, so I like to add a good amount of milk. You don't even need to add the milk if you don't want to. But I would suggest adding a few more eggs if you don't do the milk, because the milk does stretch the eggs a bit. Now for more flavor, I'm going to add some cheese into my eggs. I'm also going to top these with cheese. This is just a Mexican blend cheese, and this is just going to make them nice cheesy eggs. Pouring them into some melted butter. Now I have my bag holders here. I did have 4 of these, but my son likes to take off with them occasionally, and he has broken 2 of them. So I'm down to 2, and that's going to be just fine. So I'll just be alternating a bit here. So now you're going to want to make sure your ingredients are all cooled off before storing these. My potatoes have come to room temperature, so I'm going to get them in their bags. I'm aiming for 4 bags worth of breakfast bowls, so I'm going to be cutting this into quarters. So I'm going to take a quarter of my potatoes and put them in there, and so on and so forth for the rest of my ingredients. Checking out our eggs, they're still a little bit moist, so we gotta get a little bit more moisture out of them. They're looking good. Alright, now they are all cooled off, and we are going to assemble those into our bags as well. Once again, taking a quarter of the eggs. And this ended up working out perfectly to get 4 breakfast bowls, which is what I was hoping for. And then, like I said before, if we like these, which I think we will, because I've already tried every flavor component in there, and they all taste really good, then I'm going to be baking a whole bunch of these in different flavors, so we can just pop them out, and I'm probably going to reheat these in the oven whenever we like them. These can also be reheated in the microwave. I just feel like they taste a little bit better if you reheat them in the oven. So that's probably what I'm going to do, just throw them in a glass pan and put them in the oven. Now I'm going to add a quarter of our steaks into each bag, which is approximately a half a steak each. Topping these with a good handful of our Mexican blend cheese. Repeating the process with my next 2 bags. I chose to put mine in vacuum sealing bags so I can keep them nice and fresh. I'm clicking the moist setting on my vacuum sealer because these do press out quite a bit of moisture from the eggs, and they will shrink up quite a bit. But you can just put these in freezer safe bags or glass containers, whatever you'd like them in, whatever's easiest for you to reheat them in. If you are making a big batch of these though, they will store a lot longer in your freezer safe vacuum sealing bags. I like using my vacuum sealer when I can because if you just put these in a regular freezer bag, they'll store for about up to 3 months, roundabout. I haven't tested out for this exact recipe, obviously, because this is my first time making it, but the average rule is about 3 months. And then if you use a vacuum sealer bag, it can go from 6 months to a year, or maybe even 2 years. These obviously aren't going to last in my freezer that long because I only made 4 of them. But next time I make a big batch, it'll come in handy with a vacuum sealer. Plus, we have so many other breakfast meals that we have made in the past few months that my freezer is pretty much loaded with breakfast meals, which I'm very happy to say that. And with a new baby coming along, I really need to get going on some dinner freezer meals and some more lunch freezer meals. I also want to have a good amount of dinner freezer meals in my freezer because my family has been getting sick back to back. I have a sore throat right now. I took a little break so I can try to feel better for you guys and get a good video out. And now, of course, I have a sore throat, so I just have to push through and just get it done. I apologize if I've been looking extra tired and extra just like not there in my last few videos, but we have just been fighting off sickness after sickness, like I said, and I've just, being pregnant, it's just draining me. But with spring right around the corner, better days are coming, and I'm just so excited to get out in the garden with you guys. I am way past due on a seedling update for you guys, and I have sown a few more seeds since I last updated you on them, so that will be coming up soon. Now, I was most excited for this last recipe. This is a tried and true recipe for me. Not sure why my camera is shaking a little bit there. It's probably my son bouncing it. Who knows? These are our breakfast pizzas. I've made these a handful of times off camera, and they're just delicious. Cracking a bunch of eggs into this bowl. I did like probably 26, I think I did. I'm going to scramble these up just like I usually do my eggs. And we're gonna add the salt, pepper, milk. You can add that cheese again if you'd like for this. Now I made 8 pizza doughs and I was hoping to get 6 pizzas, which we did end up getting. We got 6 pizzas out of the ingredients that I had. And 2 of those doughs I wanted to save and put in the freezer, as I did for just like any regular pizza. If we want to just have pizza one night, we can just pull 2 doughs out and just make a regular pizza. I'm going to melt some butter into my cast iron. I had just finished frying up some breakfast sausage in this pan, so I just wiped that out, and I'm adding some fresh butter, about 2 tablespoons, and then we're going to add our egg mixture into that, and we're going to scramble these up. Now I'm prepping my countertop for the dough. These are 4 doughs in this one bowl, and it kind of rose out of the bowl, which I knew it would because it's 4 doughs in that small bowl. I don't have a bowl quite big enough to fit 4 doughs in it, let alone the 8 doughs that I did, so I had to separate this into 2 bowls. I guess I shouldn't say that. Technically, it did its job. It fit the 4 doughs in there. It's just overflowing a little bit. That's perfectly fine. And then I have the other 4 in my KitchenAid waiting for me. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to shape this just into one big dough ball. And then I'm going to cut this into 4. We're going to cut it in half first, and then I will shape it back into a ball. You don't have to, but I wanted it to be as even as possible. So I'm going to shape these each back into a ball, and then I'm going to cut that in half again, and that'll be our 4 doughs. Now I have my other 4 doughs here that I'm going to just repeat the same process. I'm going to flour my countertop and then cut these into 4. Now that I have all my 8 doughs all rolled up into balls, I'm going to let them sit and rise for another 30 minutes with a towel over top of them. I did accidentally keep my 2 that I put in the freezer. I did accidentally put them with this batch and let them rise, but that's perfectly fine. That'll just be a little extra airy when I cook them up. Now, this is optional, but I like to put some cornmeal down underneath my pizzas before I cook them. I oiled my pan, and I'm going to put the cornmeal. It just helps it from sticking, and I just like that texture on the bottom of my pizzas, and so does my family. We're going to roll this out a bit and stretch it and just get it so it's pizza size. I'm not cooking all these on this night. I'm just cooking the ones that my family's going to eat for dinner on this night, because after a long night of cooking, why not have breakfast for dinner? Now for my sauce, I like to use a cheese sauce for my breakfast pizzas. I usually like to get the spicy one, but my children aren't too big of fans of spice, so we are going to just use the plain regular cheddar. It comes out great with just the regular cheddar, but I do find, and this is with like everything that I cook, if you add a little hint of spice to it, it does wonders for the flavor. Next step, we're going to add our scrambled eggs to the top. I sliced up our sausage, so we're going to add that to the top. Now, like I said, this is one of the ones that I'm going to cook up with dinner, but I'm going to repeat the same processes for my freezer one. I'm going to put all my ingredients on it, cheese and all. Now this is just some Mexican blend cheese again. It's what I like to use for my breakfast meals. So yeah, I repeat the process for all of these pizzas, but what I do with the other ones after I'm done with this cheese step is I'm gonna par freeze them. So I use the same baking sheet to save room in my freezer, and I just stack them with a layer of saran wrap, and then I put another pizza on top, and then another layer of saran wrap, and so on and so forth until all 4 pizzas were on there. I bake these at 425 for about 12 to 15 minutes, just until they're golden brown and ready. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Have a blessed day. Alright, I have my freezer bag here, my vacuum seal bag here, and I'm just going to, I'm sealing the edge. So I'm going to go ahead and pop these out of this silicone tray. Okay. Thank you. Can you go put it over there for me? Oh, yeah. Alright, so I'm going to pop this out of my silicone tray. This has been a full 24 hours. I decided to put 6 of these in my vacuum sealing bag. And I do apologize, you're going to hear my son in the background. Standing right next to me. So I have 6 of these here. My son is playing with the camera, so I hope you can still see. I don't think he's moved it much. Alright, got my son occupied for a minute and see if we can get this done before he runs back. It did try to seal this, it didn't seal. The first one I had some moisture stuck in there, which happens sometimes. It has sealed this time, so I'm just going to label these steel cut oats with blueberries. And that'll be good in our freezer for quite a bit of time. Now the rest of these I'm going to take and put in my freezer safe bag. I'm also going to pop these out of the muffin liners because they are frozen solid like this, and I'm going to want to use those for muffins or something else. Oops. So I like these silicone muffin liners. They pop out so easily. Now these I'm going to label the same too. I'm going to label these steel cut oats with blueberries on top. These seem to have frozen well. I'll let you know. I'm gonna thaw these when my children are ready to eat some. I'll thaw however many they want. And then I'm gonna reheat them, probably in the microwave, just for a quick, easy breakfast for the kids before school. And I'll let you know how they come out, if they come out good, or if they come out bad. I'm just gonna let you know. I'll put it in the description in this video. After we do try it, it might take a week or so before they try them, because we just had these yesterday. I gave them some of the extra that we had left over, and I had put in the fridge. So yeah, I'll let you know how that goes.